Okay, welcome in one and all. I'm going to make my prediction right now. I have a funny feeling that Carey Price's career is most likely at an end. I mean, he hasn't played all season last year in the 2022/2023 campaign, and then this year he's still not playing. He's still on the LTIR, which is the long-term injury reserve list. So therefore, it's more than likely his career is over. At 36 years old, it seems kind of young, but for goalies, I believe they have like a 10-year window before they start to slow down. So yeah, I truly believe that Carey Price did play his last game back in 2022 at the end of that season, and realistically, he probably shouldn't have played. I probably did it just because he wanted to be there for the fans, even though Montreal ended up missing this postseason that year. So what we'll do is let's take a look at his season stats and his playoff stats, like I have done with the last few videos. So in 2007, 2008, he played for the AHL affiliate. I believe they were the Hamilton Bulldogs, if I'm not mistaken. They moved. Their farm team has moved from like Newfoundland to Ontario to Quebec. Now they're the Rocket, but I'm pretty sure back in 07/08 they had the Hamilton Bulldogs. So he played 10 games for them, 6-4, and had a shutout as well. And this, I believe, is going to be his second worst save percentage, and that's just in the AHL. Everything else is in the NHL. So in 2007, 2008, that same campaign, Montreal did call him up to play 41 games. He went 24, 12, and 3 with a 919 save percentage and a 2.56 goals against. So just under 3 goals a game. Pretty good, especially for your first season. In 2008, 2009, him and Halak were kind of like the goalies going back and forth. Played 52 games that season, 23, 16, and 10 with one shutout, a 905 save percentage, and a 2.83 goals against average. So not too terrible. It's still a winning season. I believe both those times they did make the playoffs as well. 2009, 2010, this was where they really split the games half and half between Price and Halak. 41 games played, 13, 20, and 5, which is why Halak ended up going on to getting the starting job and then obviously helping Montreal get to the Eastern Conference Final. But Price finished with a 912 save percentage and a 2.77 goals against average. 2010, 2011, he was the mainstay as Halak, I believe, signed with the St. Louis Blues. He played 72 games that season with 38, 28, and 6 with 8 shutouts, a 923 save percentage, and a 2.35 goals against average. So his best since joining the Habs. 2011, 2012 was an absolute disaster of a season. The first time in Carey Price's career that he would not make the playoffs. 65 games played. He went 26, 28, and 11. 4 shutouts with a 916 save percentage and a 2.43 goals against average. The 2013 campaign, that was a shortened season. That was just played, I believe, from January until March or May, and then that's when they did the postseason. It was a very shortened season that year. 39 games started, 21, 13, and 4 with 3 shutouts and a 904 save percentage and a 2.59 goals against average. 2013, 2014, this is probably his breakout season right here. Between that and then the following season as well. 59 games, 34, 20, and 5 with 6 shutouts, a 926 save percentage, and a 2.32 goals against average. So his best so far. 2014, 2015, this was the money-making season. I believe he won like 3 or 4 trophies at the NHL Awards. 66 games started. He went 44, 16, and 6 with 9 shutouts, a 933 save percentage, and a 1.96 goals against average. That was his best season, and those numbers are just unreal, especially for that many games played. 2015, 2016, this was a short season for Price. Played 12 games. He started off great. He had a 10 and 2-0, 2 shutouts, a 934 save percentage, and a 2.06 goals against average. So he was off to a very good start. Unfortunately, the injury bug happened, and he was out for the remainder of the season, and then that completely derailed the Montreal's chances of getting back in the playoffs. 2016, 2017, it was a bounce-back season. 62 games started. He went 37, 20, and 5 with 3 shutouts, a 923 save percentage, and a 2.23 goals against average. So pretty decent numbers, and he was still very talented as well. 2017, 2018, this was an odd season for Montreal. They missed the playoffs for the second time in 3 years, and he had 49 games started, 16, 26, and 7. Only 1 shutout, a 900 even save percentage, and a 3.11 goals against average. So Again, the numbers weren't there, and the team just did not play well around him, so they missed out in the postseason, as I just said. 2018, 2019, they were so close to making the postseason. I believe the Blue Jackets finished just 2 points ahead of them in the standings, so if Montreal had one or two more wins, they obviously would have got the number 8 spot in that wild card. 66 games started, he went 35, 24, and 0. Didn't lose in overtime or a shootout. 4 shutouts, a .917 save percentage, and a 2.49 goals against average. 2019, 2020 wasn't off or didn't have the best season. That season was shut down at the end, and I don't think Montreal was close to the postseason. But because of the COVID crisis, they had 16 or 14 teams each from both the East and West compete in the bubble playoff. Montreal ended up being like the last team. Sorry, it's 12 teams each. Yeah, 12 teams each, because Montreal was the number 12 seed, and then they ended up beating Pittsburgh in the play-in round. They lost to the Flyers in 6 games. But before that happened, he had 58 games started, 27, 25, and 6 was his record, with 4 shutouts, a .908 save percentage, and a 2.79 goals against average. The 2021 campaign only took place, I believe, in January, and that ran until, I want to say, September at least, because that's when I don't know, maybe it was just a shortened season. I honestly can't remember when the cup was raised, because in 2020 the cup was raised in September. Sorry, yeah, in 2020 the cup was raised in September. In 2021, I think it was like almost July. It was nuts. 25 games started, 12, 7, and 5. Only 1 shutout. He had a .901 save percentage and a 2.64 goals against average. He did 1 game, I believe, in the minors, and he went 0-1-0. 866 save percentage and a 3 goals against. So he allowed 3 goals in that one stint with the Laval Rockets. I think that was just to get him back into the postseason form. So even though his season stats weren't that great, Montreal, because they were the 4th seed in that division, they were able to get into the postseason, and then I will get on that postseason run very soon. And then his last season that I do believe he has played, 5 games, with 1 win, 4 losses, an .878 save percentage, and a 3.63 goals against average. So it was not a very good stint. Again, I think that he just wanted to come back just to have his one last little hurrah, even though he had a horrendous win-to-loss ratio, and his save percentage, like I said, was the 2nd worst, I believe, in his career, and 3.63 goals against average. Again, that was not like Price, allowing almost 4 goals a game. So, yeah, a very sad way to end, I believe, what is his career. If he does happen to come back, fantastic. But I believe he is most likely going to retire. He's just on the pay books, I believe, for the next 2 or 3 seasons. So in this season, he finished with 712 games played. He went 361 wins, 261 losses, and 73 overtime/shootout losses. 49 shutouts, so close to 50, and an average of .916 save percentage on his career. The playoffs. There's only a handful of times that the Habs missed the postseason in his tenure. So in his first year in 2007-2008, he played 11 games, 5, 6, and 0, and 2 shutouts, and .901 save percentage, and a 2.78 goals against average. They played pretty decently. I believe they lost to Philly in the 2nd round. 2008-2009, only played 4 games that postseason. He went 0-4-0, .878 save percentage, and a 4.11 goals against average. So that was just a very ugly series, and they got swept in the 1st round. 2010, that was the year he split the pipe with Halak. So in the postseason, he only had 4 games played, 0-1-0, an .890 save percentage, and a 3.56 goals against average, allowing 8 goals over that time. So Halak was the number 1 guy for the Habs in 2010. 2010-2011, obviously, that's when Halak signed with St. Louis, and Montreal decided they wanted to put all their trust and faith in Price, and it's a good thing they did. But unfortunately, they got bounced in the 1st round by the Bruins. So he went 3-4-0, 1 shutout, a .933 save percentage, and a 2.11 goals against average. So his best save percentage and goals against average, but unfortunately, like I said, they got bounced in 7 games. 2012 would be the 2nd season where they would miss the 2nd season where they would miss the playoffs in Price's tenure at that time. In 2013, they bounced back. They actually won their division but unfortunately they lost to the Senators, I believe, in 5 games. So he went 1-2-0 with an 894 goal save percentage and a 3.26 goals against average. The next season, 2013-2014, 12 games played, 8-4-0, 1 shutout, a 918 save percentage, and a 2.36 goals against average. Montreal actually reached the Eastern Conference Final, but unfortunately they ran into the Rangers, and then Price got injured in Game 1. He was out for the rest of the season, and then I believe they started Tokarski, if I'm not mistaken, after that, but unfortunately they fell in 6 games, and the Rangers obviously advanced to the Stanley Cup Final. So at that point, that was the closest that Price had been to a Cup Final appearance, and obviously the last time Montreal made it to the Cup Final was in '93, so that was like 21 years. But unfortunately, like I said, Price got hurt, and that was the end of their postseason run. The next year, 2014-2015, like I said, that was his best season statistically. Wow. 12 games played, 6-6-0, 1 shutout, a 920 save percentage, and a 2.23 goals against average. They ended up playing Lightning in the first round. Sorry, they played the Senators in the first round, beat them, and then in the second round they ran into the Lightning and lost in 6 games. 2015-2016, that was an injury-plagued season for Price, so that was the 3rd time in his tenure that they missed the playoffs. They did bounce back in 2016-2017 after winning the Atlantic Division. They played the Rangers in the first round. They lost in 6 games, so he was 2-4-0 in that series with a 932 save percentage and a 1.86 goals against average. 2017-2018, that was an injury-plagued season. 2018-2019, that was another... 2018 was just a disaster. I should say that. 2018-2019, that was close. Again, they were just 2 points shy, I believe, of taking that wild card spot. But unfortunately, that was the 4th time in Price's career and the 2nd year in a row where Montreal did not make the postseason. And the 2020, as I just talked about in the season, they had the little bubble playoffs. So they played 10 games. They beat the Penguins in a best-of-5 series, 3-1. And then they ran into the Philadelphia Flyers and Carter Hart, who was playing great at that time, and then they lost in 6 games. So they had went 5-5-0 with 2 shutouts, a 936 save percentage, and a 1.78 goals against average. 2021. This was the season I'll never forget, even though it was just about 3 seasons ago, 2.5 years ago. Montreal, that was when they had the realignment with all the teams. So it was just the Canadian team in the 2021 division. So just 7 teams. They all played like 3-4 games at a time each. Kind of made it feel like a baseball series. And then I think it was a 56 game season, if I'm not mistaken. So he played 22 games. He went 13-9-0 with 1 shutout, a 924 save percentage, and a goals against average 2.28. So it wasn't that great, but again, because they were the 4th team in that division, and the top 4 teams in every division made the playoffs, they were one of the wild card teams, if you want to put it, to get into the postseason. And then they went on that tremendous run all the way to the Stanley Cup Final, but unfortunately they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games. That is the end of my little talk with Carey Price. Again, will he come back? Can he come back? I don't know, but I doubt it. But if you guys think differently, let me know. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative at the same time. As always, take care.